Hello! It is Chloe from Chloe Me Just Me, and I'm on my bed and we're not doing a vlog. How strange. Well, what is this video, you may ask? I am going to do another one of those Q&A videos. We did one ages ago. I think I was 9, nearly 10, and now I'm 13, so there is quite a big difference actually. So this is how it goes usually. If you haven't seen that video, there will be a link in the description or an I button in one of these corners. I forgot which. If you see it, click it. Right there. I forgot which corner it's in. And yeah, if you go watch that, I'm awful embarrassed because I'm very young in that video. And I am older now, so it'll be a bit like that. Except I have grown a little bit, but not much because I'm still small. And I will be asked commonly asked questions for being an autistic and PDA teen. So here we go, video time. Also I have cat socks and they're very nice, look at them. They have paws. I'm going to try and answer them, but I actually don't know what they are because my mum just wrote them down in the notepad I can see in the distance, but I don't know what they actually say. So you're going to get my first reaction of all of the notes, and I will try my best to answer them.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
You're ready. Okay, so the first one is a pretty broad and open one. What is PDA?
Well, it's not a thing. It's not like an actual thing, because you just said, what is it? Like, it's not a thing. I have it, but it's not like I own it. It's hard to explain. I don't like it when people say that you own PDA, or what is it? Like it's a thing. You should ask, what's it like? With being a teenage girl with PDA or something like that. And not, what is PDA? It's not a separate thing. I am a PDA girl. I am a person that doesn't have it. It's hard to explain. I'm failing miserably to explain because it's really confusing to say what it is without talking like it's just over there. Where's PDA? It's not there. It's not there. It's not even here. It's a part of me. And you can't exactly say what is it like or what is it anything, because that's really confusing. Because I don't know what it's like. Because I never had it. Like, it's not like a thing that you just don't have suddenly, it's not like a cold you can catch. Because, for instance, if you've never had chickenpox, for example, and someone asks, what's it like? And then someone else has had it, they'll know what it's like because they've had it for a bit. But you don't just grow PDA. It isn't just, I don't exactly know how to answer that. But what is it in its entirety? I don't actually know how to answer it because I don't know how to explain what it's like or what it is because I've had it my whole life. It's not like a thing I've just gotten. Yeah. Like, oh, I'm 10 now, I've got PDA all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Not like that. I've always had it.
So it's intrinsic to you.
Yeah, but if it didn't have a label or anything and it wasn't any different or anything and no one knew anything about it, I wouldn't think any different about it.
Or yourself.
Or myself,
yeah.
Because to me, that is my life, that's how my thoughts have been, that's how everything's been. It's not exactly a thing that is over there, like, oh look, well, the reason, it's not like I just suddenly turn an age and then I just catch PDA and all of a sudden it's just saying, oh, I've got PDA now, so I know that before I had PDA, I was like this, but now I act like this. It's not that.
No.
I don't know how to explain it because I've never exactly been without it.
So what is PDA to you known as, though?
Known as?
Yeah.
Well,
so you're aware of what PDA...
I'm aware that I am a PDA and autistic individual, but I don't know exactly how to explain it. I guess because I've heard some people explain what their thoughts are like, and then I'm really confused because that sounds really different to me. But in a way, I also think everyone's thoughts are different.
Yeah.
And everyone works differently, so it's really hard to explain. I figured out that I get more stressed and anxious easily compared to other people. but I don't exactly know how I can be more anxious, because for me, I've always been this anxious, so it's hard to think how much more anxious I am.
So you're only realising...
Small things. It's kind of hard when people say, oh, well, I think this, but then if someone else, like other person that doesn't have it as well as that person says, I think this way, they're still different.
Yeah, I get
Everyone
that.
thinks differently.
So going
it's
back
not
to the anxious thing.
the anxious. I know I'm more anxious of some things, like there's small details, and most people are thinking, why are you so scared about this? It's not like anything bad's going to happen. And I think all of the ways it could happen.
Yeah.
Even if I don't want to think about it.
So when you're talking about anxiety, is it you compare your anxiety to others and you realise your anxiety is greater?
Yeah, because before you don't usually think, oh, I'm quite anxious, because if you've been this anxious for your entire life, you wouldn't think, oh, I'm quite anxious today.
Right.
There's certain days where I feel more anxious than others, and then I kind of notice thinking, oh, I feel a bit more stressed today.
Than compared to the previous day.
Compared to the previous day, because you can't make a statement without having...
that happen, yeah.
I mean, without having the backup thing, so you can't just make a statement without knowing... You have to have a data before and after, if you understand. So, yesterday, I wasn't this happy. Today, I am more happy. You can't just say, I am more happy if you've never had any other.
No, yeah, I get that.
So,
that makes sense.
That makes sense. I sometimes do that some days, but it's not like always. But then when I hear to people doing things, or when I'm doing a certain thing, like the other time I was doing, a few days ago, line opening, I really hated using the tools. I worked through it, but now I'm thinking, ages and ages and ages back, when I was like 9, I would have not done it.
At all, you wouldn't have even approached it.
I would have even tried it. I would have been like, no, those tools are scary. I'm not touching that. You want me to touch that? And I'd instantly go to dramatising it and saying, if I touch that, I'll die, or something dramatic like that, and do old drama queen Chloe. But now I actually tried it. I thought, yeah, that was quite enjoyable, but I really didn't enjoy it because it made me stressed about using the tools. Do you understand? So then I'm not going to do that again, but it was an experience and I worked through it. But I really, really got stressed doing that. I didn't like it.
I know.
One bit. It was fun when there was a really long line and you slowly scraped and you had like this long peely bit. But
apart from that, yeah.
You can still do that with clay when you peel a long bit.
Yeah.
So it's not much. I wouldn't do that again. But I did do it and I tried.
That's good.
So.
Yeah.
Go me! I'm now frightened of it even more. I also cut my hand once and then I instantly thought, oh no, this is the end. I did the undoable thing. Didn't even bleed at all. I just
So you panic about things that could happen, and if things do happen, you always envision them to be a lot worse.
Oh yes. Like, and if they do, and when they do happen, I act like I exactly knew this is going to happen. This is the reason why I wouldn't, even though it's such a small thing.
Yeah.
Like I get a tiny scrape on my hand.
It almost validates your fear. Yeah.
It validates me saying, like, for instance, I look at the tool thinking, I'm going to die if I use that. A tiny scrape on my hand, and then I think, see, I told you I was going to die with a tiny little scrape.
Yeah.
So it just validates it, but in the weirdest way possible.
So PDA to you is about anxiety then?
Yeah, and it's not just about anxiety. Sometimes it affects like me being happy because I am happy and I express my ways of being happy.
So it's not just a negative thing then? No.
Also, sometimes it's really weird to say this, but it gives me confidence.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I can be confident doing the most daftest, stupidest, idiotic thing in the universe and think that I am amazing. Because little things in my brain say, yeah, this is amazing, you should do it. And even though now I'm thinking back on the stupid things I've done, I think, that's not so amazing. But at the time, I felt great and I thought this is...
So it's slightly impulsive, but in a
tiny bit,
positive
but in a good way.
sense,
Like,
yeah.
For instance, when I think, oh, I'm going to try this colour combination with my clothes, looks terrible, completely clashes with everything else.
But
Did I look good? No. Did I feel good? Of course.
I think that's all that matters though.
That's all that matters. I felt great that day, so.
Also, I have noticed, I don't know if you noticed, that sometimes if you don't want to do a certain activity.
Oh, excuses.
Yeah, I'm not going with the excuses, but instead of not doing it, for like through art, for example, like when we used to go to art workshops,
I did it different.
You would find a way to still do it, but in your own way.
Yeah.
So you would adapt yourself.
I didn't know people didn't do this.
But I kind of like that you do that,
okay, until recently, like I'd say around 2020, I started realising more things before I started to realise that more people realise, because then now I'm thinking, again, now you ask me, what is PDA like and things, I just realised something. People don't actually do that usually, because in the classes everyone does what is asked, and I'm basically the only person doing something different because I didn't want to do it.
Yeah, but it's not because you don't want to do it.
No, but it's like because I didn't like doing what everyone else is doing, because I kind of like being different. So I do something different, but I don't do it so different that you could get mad. Like, for instance, I would do it so then I am drawing a pig, but you didn't say it couldn't be cartoony. Or, yes, I am drawing the thing upside down, but you didn't say that I couldn't move around the table to draw it. Things like that. Or,
so you come up with inventive ways to still do the task, but in your own unique way.
Because in the homemade community things, lots of people find this sort of stuff funny and they think this child's a genius.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of moments.
It's embraced, isn't it, that sort of way?
That different, wiggly way of thinking that's just kind of saying, if I do it completely different, but in a way that it still follows the certain rules you've set,
so you make it work for you and for them, really.
I also make sure that even if they get annoyed that I'm doing it different, they can't tell me off because I did follow everything they said. Like on a maths
Ingenuity.
book. Yeah, ingenuity. On a maths book, it said name the shapes. And the difference is I did actually know that they were equilateral triangles or whatever they're called. I did know what they were called.
Yes.
Equilateral triangles, I wanted to find those. I knew which ones were and which ones weren't.
But
they said to name them. They didn't say what to name them, so I said Bob, Mary, Joan, Claire. Named the shapes. But then when they asked who is an equilateral triangle, I wrote Claire and Bob. I was correct. Claire and Bob were equilateral triangles, but I didn't, just because I didn't write it down on their names, equilateral, non-equilateral.
Yeah, letter A and letter B.
Or letter A and letter B or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I did name them. You can't tell me off. It said to name them. I named them.
You did it.
And then I also answered the questions correctly. So I did express that I knew which ones were equilateral.
Yeah.
But just because I didn't name them equilateral, that'd be like naming me human. You wouldn't name a child human.
Just like
they're a human, but it doesn't mean they're a human.
Yeah. Right, human.
Yes.
So the next one was, how do you identify with PDA and autism?
Chloe.
Yes. So would you go up to someone and say,
Hi, I'm Chloe, I have PDA and autism. La 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 la, look at my pet PDA and autism, or I own PDA. It's not like you walk up to someone. I walk up to someone and say, if I'm making a friend, hey, my name's Chloe, what's your name? Not, hi, I have autism and I've had these past traumas. How are you? I went to this in this school. I live in this place. I watch these videos on YouTube and do these things at home. I've done all of this and I have a blue bed sheet.
What
do you... Well, it is. You don't just walk up to someone and say all of that. It's not your first impression.
No, so you would just say you're...
Chloe, I'm Chloe. Chloe Read is me. Follow, like, subscribe.
So you would just be Chloe, basically, isn't it? This is a strange one. I think you've kind of answered it, so I would just briefly go over it. Because I think you said it at the beginning, but someone's asked, what is it like to be autistic?
Same question. I don't know. It's kind of a thing that's been there forever.
Yeah.
Same answer as the what's it like? Do you have PDA?
Yeah, it's one of those. Yeah.
Hey, what's it like having brown hair?
Yeah, it's the same sort of question, isn't it?
What's it like having blonde hair? Well.
Yeah, that's the sort of
What's it
answer
like
you'll get.
having blue eyes? What's it like having brown eyes? It's like asking people what it's like when you don't exactly...
Yeah, it's a silly one really, but a lot of people do ask it.
Yeah.
It's a strange
What's
one.
it like having 5 fingers? Everyone has 5 fingers. Actually, I have 4 and a thumb, but that's not the point.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll move on to when were you diagnosed with PDA?
I was 5. This is the second take. The first take, my mum was doing this, and I looked awful confused because I thought she was
waving.
When I was little, I knew sign language, and I thought she was just saying milk, milk, milk.
Yeah.
I was very confused, and then I realised, oh, it's 5. That's what
Okay.
you're doing.
You were young, weren't you?
I was very young. I was a small little Chloe, like half the size of me now, which is saying something.
When were you told about PDA and autism?
Still don't remember. I don't remember. Still, I think I was 4, 3, something. Whatever.
You're young.
Young.
So you've always
I was
known
young.
you were young. Good answer.
I was young and I can't remember.
Right. So you've always been self-aware, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know who you are, and that's a good thing. Here's a good one. I'll see what your reaction is. What approaches in education would you recommend? You can say what you're thinking. It's fine.
Smile.
Yeah.
I don't have an opinion, actually.
Yeah, you do.
I do have an opinion, but I would recommend not doing one of those parenty things where people say, if you do genuinely want to be a doctor or a scientist or anything, you gotta know that that's fine. But I don't like when people just think, I'm gonna be a doctor or a scientist or a nurse or whatever, vet, those builder, those 5 jobs. I've heard them so much. It annoys me because like, if everyone says these jobs when they're little, yet for some reason barely anyone turns out to be them. It's like that's just like the first thing you think of when you're little. Job like builder, scientist, nurse, vet, doctor.
Yeah. So how's that got to do with education, Chloe?
Because it doesn't. Those few jobs don't exactly apply to anything, and your education is based around people thinking what job. And this is what I say: don't choose a job. Don't. No jobs. If you think about, I say I want to be an artist. Don't mean I'm going to be an artist anymore. I just mean I want to now. When I say I want to be an artist, I don't say when I'm older.
Yeah.
I want to be an artist. I want to work towards doing that now.
Yes.
Which is now. And currently I'm doing lots of online drawing on my tablet, doing painting, doing doodles. I am currently an artist because I draw, and soon I'm going to open up a little website thing. I could do art commissions or whatnot.
What else have you been doing, actually? There's been another thing you've been doing.
Baking. Oh my god. I love it. It's great. Okay? Also, you know when you're making cookies, and I don't know if you've ever done this, but your mum or your dad say, stop touching the dough. Stop touching the dough. It'll get sticky if you keep touching it, but it's just satisfying feel. So you're like, touch the dough more. And it ends up getting sticky and the cookies are ruined. You know that scenario. But think about that, but your mum or dad says you're not touching the dough enough. Okay, now that's bread. You have to knead it for 10 minutes straight. It's great. It's heaven. I love it. It's like the best kind of dough ever. You get to touch the dough, but you need to touch it. You need to get the knead.
Yeah. Okay. So.
And I love baking. Baking is great. It's a thing, and soon I want to open up a bakery. And I say soon, meaning I don't have to be millions of years old to do that. I don't have to think that I'm an adult. I'm thinking 18.
Yeah.
16, 18. I'm going to work up hard, do YouTube videos, get enough money, find a good bakery.
You want to bake, don't you?
Bakery. Boom.
That's currently, though.
Yeah, currently.
Your mind might change next year.
But that's, who knows? Maybe I found my thing.
Yeah. So are you saying education should be based
on what you want, not now. Not what you want in the future. Stop thinking about jobs. Stop it. Don't.
Yeah.
If you say, like I hear people behind the scenes saying, I'm going to be this when I'm older. Can you just remove the older part?
Yeah.
I want to be this.
Yeah.
That's all you need to say. I want to do this.
Currently.
That's what you want to do now. What's in the now.
Education should be about now.
It
And what works for you
later.
now.
And if you all of a sudden have a quick change of mind and you think, I want to do this, and you're really sure you want to do this, that's fine.
You can change and do it.
You can change and do it. And that's the whole point of spending so long being educated.
Yeah.
Is so you can have these obstacles. And if you ever do want to go back, then you have the knowledge to go back. And if you don't, then you have a cool set of knowledge you can teach other people in the future.
Yes.
And it's kind of cool if you ever did like think you wanted to do baking, and then all of a sudden you don't, and you want to be an entrepreneur or something. That's fine. Well, at least you know how to cook yourself a decent meal when you're older.
Yeah, those skills can be still utilised.
Really
it's not wasting time, is it?
And I especially like learning things that are helpful later on. Okay, and I do disagree with certain school systems with the math, science, English. You don't need some of the things they teach you, like Bob has 20 apples. Why do we need to know that Bob has 20 apples? And how on earth did he get that many apples? But that's not the point. Why do we need to know these silly scenarios? I'd prefer them to teach you how to cook, how to look after yourself, how to pay the bills, how to do this, how to do that. Not Bob has 20 apples, because that doesn't help you in your future.
No. Who is this Bob?
Who is this Bob, and why does he have so many apples?
Yeah, Bob's greedy.
Yeah, Bob is just greedy.
Yeah.
So
your answer to that is...
I learn things that are going to help you later in life and work towards your interest. If you like doing...
Yeah, so it has to be your interest, not someone else's.
Yes, it is good to earn basic maths and English.
Like core skills, yeah.
Yeah, and core skills. It's good to learn it just enough so you can...
Get by.
Write,
yeah.
Read, speak.
Yeah.
And then...
Fundamentals, they call them.
Fundamentals, yeah. And maths, it's good to have it so that you can pay the bills. But I really wish there was a website out there, there probably is, I need it, that just teaches you how to like use maths, but in a way that helps you, like, this is your bill. How do you
this
pay
is
it?
how a
do
mortgage
you manage your
statement
money?
is. That's called life learning, which we'll always do.
I wish there was more of that in the maths books. Then Bob has 20 apples.
Yeah, it's a shame.
I don't care who this Bob fella is and why do you have that many apples.
Yeah.
That's all. One time, I always write this on my books, whenever it says something about someone having this many things, I always ask, instead of writing it on the answer, I write, why does he have that many apples? And he ends up with 9.
Yeah.
I write the answer and then ask the question at the same time.
Yeah. So education, it should be suited to your, do what you like, suited to your interests, and present day rather than...
If you don't know what you're interested in, focus on life skills.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Things you know, baking, cooking, do it just like...
Shopping. All those
money managing.
Yeah.
And also, like, even writing helps. Even you can use writing for so much. And then learning how to make stories is also really fun. Because it helps you be creative and it's good. I would say having a diary, but I have 50 unfinished diaries plopped around everywhere.
Yeah. You like writing notes lately, though.
I like notes. Okay, I have these little notepads, and they're the best. Get notepads, sticky notes, best thing ever.
Yeah,
you can write down something, stick it on a wall.
Right, next question. Do you ever have meltdowns?
Used to.
Used to.
And now it's more of a crying in the pillow at midnight. But...
Oh God, sounds like you have an awful life, Chloe.
I don't. This is just called, apparently, meltdowns.
Yes.
Plus teenager.
Yeah, no, not good.
Doesn't go well.
Bad combination.
Bad combination. Don't want to go there.
No. When you did have meltdowns, what did you do to manage them?
Okay. So, weird thing, meltdowns is a tiny bit like a panic attack, but not really. It's like, I call them an angry attack or an emotion attack.
I like the emotion attack. I think that's a good...
It's more like not an angry attack, it's more like an emotion attack.
Because you're not always angry.
No, but usually it's when something triggers you to the point of you, instead of your emotions going, so there's your line.
Mm-hmm.
There's a line. Emotions over the line. And then it kind of is a bit like a panic attack in the sense of you kind of lose, not yourself completely, but you kind of just go over there. you don't even, sometimes you just kind of get controlled by your emotions, and then you say things, sometimes you don't even realise you're doing it, sometimes you do. Sometimes, usually it's like watching a TV of you doing stupid, angry, mean things, or just yelling out every name under the sun to some nice person because you're just stressed and angry. And it's really annoying because it's like watching a TV set of yourself losing control.
Yeah, and you
like
can't press pause or stop.
Yeah, it's like you're strapped to a chair, okay, and the remote's all the way over there, okay, and you're stuck in this chair, and there's a TV on, full blast, watching yourself doing mean things, or saying mean things, or just losing control.
Yeah.
And it's not like you can do anything, but then, let's just say, and all the time when your parents say something nice and calming, it's not like you're not hearing it, because you're hearing everything. You're hearing the things you're saying, but you don't have a say in what you're saying.
Okay, that's interesting.
So you're just saying anything that it's basically your emotion speaking. Like, if you're really angry, then you'll say, instead of just saying I'm really angry, like if you're angry that you hurt yourself, you'll say you hurt me to the person, like your emotions
project
are talking
it slightly
to the thing that hurt yourself. Like you could drop something in your foot, but if something's like, if you got like hurt, like you fell over or something, and you've gotten mad, and then more things built up, you'll start saying things to the person based around what's happened. Like your emotions are trying to tell off the thing that's annoyed them. Yeah. Even if it's not the person. Like if I fell over and really hurt myself, and then I was in a lot of pain, and then I got angry at something, then some of my emotions will just start yelling at my mum or something, telling her that she hurt me when she didn't, and it's all your fault.
When it wasn't.
When it wasn't. It was the floors. Having a stone on the floor over there. But
right. Have you had many meltdowns?
No, it gets better over time, but it's...
I would say when you're really young, actually.
Yeah, but it's what happens is when your mum says nice things, or when whoever you're getting mad at, or whatever happening, when people say nice, kind things, you hear it all. Yeah. So it's not like they're not getting through to you.
So eventually, so if you're supported...
If you think about this, I'm trying to say this, but when they're saying this, it's like the rope that's tying to the chair loosens a tiny bit. Okay. And then the more they say it, and the more you feel calmer, and the more you feel happy, the rope loosens each time until you can get up, get the remote, turn off the TV. Ah. And it's the best explanation I can say for when you stop a meltdown.
Really
and then that's why you usually end up in, I'm so sorry, because you're like, I said these things and I had no control over them. I feel so awful, yet I didn't do any. Yeah. And it's kind of, it's a weird feeling. Okay, that's a really good analogy, Chloe, actually. But let's just say it's a lot different for a tantrum. Yeah. Because some people say that they're the same. Yeah, they're not. I disagree. Tantrums is like you yelling at someone knowing that you're yelling at someone. To get something. To get something. You're not trying to get anything. No. When you're having a meltdown, there is no actual purpose. Like, it can sometimes be a really stupid reason too, and then you just feel so annoyed with yourself, even though it's almost as if you know you did it, but you don't know why, and you don't even remember saying any of the mean stuff. It doesn't feel like you said them. Yes. It's more like, so I like the term emotion attack. Yes. It's kind of like that. So it says, what things do you struggle with? It's a biggie. That could be a lot of things, can it? But any particular ones stand out, I would say. I don't know. It's kind of hard to... Okay, it's one of those things which you... Okay, yes, I get sleeping. My mum's trying... that one, the dreaded sleep. Yeah. It doesn't work for me. But it's one of those questions that, other than sleep, obviously, help me. I can't sleep. Yeah, that's because of other things, though. Actually, more than. The annoying thing with sleep, though, is that lots of people say that they think sleep's a waste of time, and I've heard that, or it feels to them like that. But for me personally, it's like, I want to sleep. Why won't this stupid body sleep already? And then I'm just getting really annoyed, and then I'm just tossing and turning, like, uncomfortable, can't sleep, and then I'm getting annoyed with myself because I can't sleep, and it's like my brain saying sleep, sleep, sleep. I'm saying sleep, sleep, sleep. I'm even like, just sleep. I want to shake myself to just fall asleep. Yeah, you're not getting sleepy. And it's annoying because I actually want sleep. I'm not thinking it's a waste of time. I'm thinking I need sleep. Okay. I need sleep. So I can't sleep. But
apart from sleep,
one of those things, you know when people say, what have you eaten for breakfast? You're like, even though you know exactly what you ate, suddenly someone asks you a question, your mind just goes,
pop. So you're not too sure.
Not sure. It kind of ties in with the first question and the other question saying that I don't know what I struggle with exactly.
Some things just happen as and when.
And I'm used to it happening. It makes me feel bad saying it because it sounds so mean and so derogative. It means pathological demand avoidance. It's like someone just went, oh, pathological.
It's like...
Demand. Yep, they have a lot of demands. Avoiding. They avoid stuff. Now let's throw them at them and then they stick those words on a giant boulder and roll them over us like we're nothing.
Yeah.
Saying, there, that's what you have, that's you. Ha ha.
Yeah,
Very funny.
It's not a nice association. You don't like it, do you?
It's almost as if someone was like up at midnight thinking, what should I call this? Oh yeah, pathological demand avoidance. It's such a stupid name.
Yeah.
There's nothing pathologically wrong with me. It's like saying it's wrong.
Yeah, it's not nice. It's very derogative.
Nothing wrong with my brain. I'm just slightly different and that should be accepted.
Yes, it should be. And that's the upsetting thing, isn't it?
And I demands. It's not. They're saying like everything's demands.
It's not everything.
Not everything. Like for instance, eating. It's not a demand. Okay.
Well, it used to be for you, not anymore.
But not anymore. Okay. Eating. It's like people saying that. It's more like it's not actually a demand to eat. It's more of a demand to eat this specific type of food because I don't like it.
Yeah. Or you're not sure of it.
Or you're not sure
or you're frightened of it.
And then you're frightened of it. So it's more about, if you think about it, it's more just a fancy word for anxiety.
Yeah.
So it should really have an A as a second word.
Yeah, it should be something about anxiety.
Not
and
demands,
levels of anxiety.
There's nothing about demands in me.
It's more the levels of anxiety.
Like, a demand is when you're saying, I am the king, I demand you to be my slave. That's a demand.
Right.
Or, can you do this for me, but you can't say no.
Yeah.
That's your demand.
It's when you have no choice whatsoever.
When you have no choice whatsoever. I have a choice.
Yeah, you're aware you have
a choice.
I think that's because you're aware you have choices as well.
It's not like a demand. It's like you, and they're saying it in a sense that everything's a demand. If everything's a demand, then that means I can't. Then I don't have a choice in if I do it or not.
Yeah, and
I'm gonna pick up this teddy. Not a demand. I did it. I have a choice, and I'm gonna put it down in 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. I didn't have to.
Yeah.
Because that's not a demand. I don't have to take this down, but I will.
So.
Not a demand. So it's more about anxiety, really. I won't do something if it's so scary for me or I feel like I shouldn't do. It's more about that, and I do avoid things, but it's only when I feel it's scary, not because they're a demand.
Because you're saying it's because it's assigned a level of anxiety and
more
fear.
It's anxiety, fear, stress, trauma,
and then
everything.
It triggers a response.
Yeah. So then I will.
So if you could recognise,
it's like a little quiz your head. So it's like, is it A?
Yeah.
Turn around, run away as fast as you can, screaming, "Help me!" B. Do it. C. Do it but differently. Or D. All of the above in that order. And sometimes I choose D.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good way of explaining
all of the above in that order, just runs away screaming, "Help me!"
So what do you call PDA? You call it different.
You called it.
I called it.
I love it.
And you liked it.
Say it.
Positive, determined attitude.
Woo! Because then that means I am determining my own attitude.
Yes.
It's mine. I have choice in it.
And it can be a positive one.
Can be.
Yes.
Yes. Positive.
It's not all negative.
No.
And that's the problem with the diagnosis.
Yes.
Is there's a negative diagnosis.
But really, it should be something like.
Yeah.
Perfectly amazing brain.
Yes.
Pab.
I like that one.
Pab.
Pab.
I have Pab. My brain is Pab. Perfectly amazing brain.
Okay. So, a lot of questions always ask, what is it, as if it's separate. And that's then triggered you to say, well,
hey,
I don't...
this is my pet PDA.
Yeah. Okay, so here we are. So you probably got some young children, or actually teens your age, or even older people.
Hello, people.
Watching
Thank you for watching me. Subscribe.
They're watching you. So
My good role model. I hope I am. Hello. Just saying, if your name is there, hello to you.
okay, so what advice would you give them if they've just discovered they've been diagnosed with PDA?
Well, if what you're doing currently isn't helping you, then it's best to adapt for what helps you and your family, so everyone can be happy. And I want you to be happy. If you are stressed and you don't like doing one thing, then you need to actually express, because this is a problem I used to have all the time. I had a big problem with saying what's on my mind. And let me just tell you this. Even though this is one of the only things that sounds like a demand, is saying what's on your mind. Seems like it, but it's not actually. Because you just think about it this way. You can choose if you should say or not, but most of the time you should say. It doesn't mean you could, if you really don't want to say what's on your mind, if it's really stressing you that much and it makes you stressed to say, then that's fine. All you need to do is say, there's something on my mind, but it stresses me out to say.
Yeah.
But if there is something on your mind and you can say, it's not a demand. Don't think of it that way. Just think of it as something that's in a jar and you need to let it out. So, tell your family, tell your parents, tell people, just not any random person on the street. Like, don't just walk into a shop, hey, I'm stressed about this.
So, someone you trust.
Someone you trust. Say, your parents, your guardians, anyone, just say, hey, this is stressing me out. Every time I do this each day, it stresses me out.
I need to do it differently. Yeah.
Then if you don't know what to do, then you can say, can you help me find what doesn't stress me out? And if you know what makes you feel better, then you can explain that this makes me feel better if we do it this way.
Yes.
And then you can adapt
Yes.
to what helps you, but then nobody gets caught around you because you literally were brave enough to just tell them, hey, this is stressing me out. And that does take a lot of courage.
It does.
So if you do manage to do that, woo, go you. That's great. But something, if I first got told this is what I wish I could hear. If I had someone saying, hey Chloe, yeah you, tell people what you're thinking. Not everything, but just say if there's something stressing you out, then I wouldn't feel like I needed to hide so much and we wouldn't have had so many problems that we did have. Because most of the things that happen is me being stressed, not saying what I'm stressing about.
And then behaving.
And then behaving badly. And then my mum's just like, oh, why are you doing this then? And it's really hard for people. And there's nothing wrong with other people. Other people do understand you. It's not like no one understands you. If they don't understand you, that's because it's I'm not saying it's your fault, but it's just because if you don't say what's going on in your mind, then there is no way they can understand you.
No, because you've not
in my
explained.
thoughts when I was younger, I used to think, no one understands me. I can't believe no one does this. I never said anything.
Yeah.
I never said anything. I'm thinking this one thing and this stresses me out, and then I end up forcefully doing it, then getting angry and stressed, and my mum doesn't know why I'm stressing.
Yeah. That was a long time ago, though.
Yeah, so it's something stressing you out, explain it, but be calm about it. Don't just start yelling, hey, this stresses me out, I'm so angry. just say, this is stressing me out, please.
Yeah. You need to do it a different way.
Can we do it a different way?
Yeah.
And then you don't have all of the stress, all of the people being confused. And also, don't think that they don't understand you. The only way to get, if they really don't, the only way to get them to understand you is to say.
Yes.
So, any tips? Say what's on your mind if it's stressing you out, if you want to do it a different way, and even say things you like.
Yes.
Because then they'll know what you like, what you do, what you enjoy, and even what calms you down. Because that's the best thing you can tell people that are around you a lot, is what calms you down. So then maybe next time, if you ever do have a big meltdown or anything, I'm not saying you will, but if you ever do get really stressed over one thing, then at least people, your friends, your family, everyone around you knows how to calm you down, and then you end up having a better relationship with the people around you.
Yeah, that's good advice,
And also
Chloe.
a better relationship with yourself.
Yes, Chloe.
So it's good to know.
Well done.
And it's good to say. Just say what's on your mind.
Good. I like that.
It was good.
Yeah. I would also...
Positive role model.
Yeah. No, you are, babe. I'm really pleased. I would add that there are boundaries you need to have, just from our experiences, that it's best to talk to a trusted adult rather than friends, because some children offload the wrong things to other children. So that's all the questions. Is there any last words you want to say, Chloe?
Be yourself.
Yay.
Wait, we didn't do the thing.
What thing? Is that the
Bye.
thing? Bye.